Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Inside the Distance podcast. I'm your host, GK, the fight analyst, and this here is my man, Aaron the dog. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's good. Going a little early today, but yeah, it's good. There's some Bellator fights on in the background here, so I'm able to pretty much tune them out. But if I occasionally look up, that's probably why. Maybe there's something cool that happened.
No
I learned
worries,
about
no worries.
yeah, nothing like learning about from a very very low level female fight on a Bellator prelim. Have you ever heard about Super Guard before?
Nope, just
So
rubber guard.
I saw a fight finished by Super Guard.
That's unusual.
It's essentially a full guard where the arms of the person on the bottom are grabbed behind the knees and then squeezed, and the person on top ended up tapping from that.
That is quite unusual.
Yeah, Big John McCarthy said he'd never seen that before. Said the only times he'd seen that was in very beginner level children competitions where the bodies are small enough and frail enough for that to work.
That's exactly how
that's
you
where we're
would
at
explain Bellator MMA, though.
That's where we're at 1 p.m. on a Thursday watching MMA in Italy. I'll take it. There's been other good fights, but yeah, enough about that. What these people are here? A UFC card.
Yes,
breaking down here.
Yes, we have a 11 fight UFC card.
Put air quotes up for those audio listeners.
Yeah, it's still pretty. It's not a terrible card. It's not a terrible card.
No, a lot of these fighters could still be on the Contender Series or
absolutely
earning their way onto the Contender Series,
or just not in the UFC at all. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that a little later on. But first, I want to say thank you everybody for tuning in on a special 3 p.m. episode of Inside the Distance podcast. The reason being, I am going to be off tonight with the wife for our anniversary, and that's why I had to go do things a little bit early. So thank you for tuning in. But yeah, let's touch base on last weekend's events. UFC 253. Holy crap, what a dominant performance by Israel Adesanya. Said that to a T. We said it, the easiest fight of his career, easiest title defense he probably will ever have. And that's the last time we will ever get Izzy at minus 165 against anybody else at 185 until he fights John Jones, and then he's going to be an underdog. But other than that, he's skyrocketing to 250, 300 against literally anybody they put in front of him.
Yeah. I mean, he looked really, really good. I mean, Costa didn't have much to offer, but that's you can't take away from what Izzy's been able to do throughout his run so far in the UFC. He's started to look better and better, and so we got that one right. Obviously, the co-main event. I was a little bit, I was a little bit tentative on there, but at the same point, I did pick Reyes.
Did terrible there as well.
So it happens. Congrats to Jan, who at one point I think was 2-4 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Definitely Diego got robbed for sure. So, that those judges are unbelievable.
I looked away from that fight, and then I come like the next fight. I see all these memes about Diego and his flying knee. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about?
We have Jorge Masvidal at home, and it is Diego Sanchez.
God. I'm like, what is that? That was arguably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. That was something that doesn't need to happen anymore. if he's gonna fight anymore in the UFC, it needs to be against the loser of Court McGee and like Carlos Condit or something like that. Like, get a senior division set up, keep these guys with each other, like.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, don't give him someone that like is like a contender.
Yeah, like Jake Matthews, 25 years old. Like, finally, but Jake Matthews still kind of.
He didn't look great. He didn't look great.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's Diego Sanchez. I mean, and you
Gotta put
didn't
him
dominate
away.
him.
You
Yeah,
gotta put him away. Jake Matthews, I keep waiting for this
I
fight,
know.
but
I do
yeah,
too. I mean, like he has the intangibles, he has everything, skill wise. He's still super young, but he just, I don't know. He hasn't taken that next step yet. But yeah, I think it was a great card, top to bottom, fantastic fights. Brad Rydell stands out. He looked phenomenal in his fight. That was a great fight against Alex De Silva.
yeah. I think Silva looked really good too.
He did. He looked phenomenal early on, and then he just gassed himself out.
I bet on De Silva. I was really upset when he didn't get that done by the end of the first round.
Oh, so close. It was so close.
Yeah, because I did notice he came into this fight much larger, more muscular.
Really, way bigger, way bigger.
Yeah, and I knew that wasn't going to result in a 3-round fighter. So when that finish didn't come in the first, it
was all she wrote pretty much.
Exactly, but it was still one where I felt okay with my pick.
He looked great in the first round. Like he was dominating that first round, easily won it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So let's hop into this card. Why don't we? I mean,
absolutely.
It's still a decent card. You know, I think that the main event's getting a little bit too much hate, in my opinion. I
feel like it's a way better main event than Jessica I and
Calvillo.
And Calvillo.
If we're setting the bar ultra low there. This is
pretty much.
This is a pretty relevant fight for sure. So.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
definitely title implications. I would assume, but yeah, let's just start off on the preliminary card. The first fight up is in the lightweight division, a fight between Yesin Ayari and Luigi Vendramini, I believe. I'm very bad with these names, but right now it's basically a pick'em. Ayari is a -120 favorite, and the comeback on Vendramini is a +100 underdog. Who do you got?
This is a fight that I have no interest in betting on.
Me either. I definitely don't want any parts of this.
I've not seen anything that is too of note from Justin Ayari so far. I mean, there was that fight against Stevie Ray where he did win and somehow got unanimous decision loss, but that is just kind of
and then his fight against Till where he should have won that.
But
he should have won that too.
He fought a 177-pound Till also.
Yeah.
So Justin coming into this fight, he's going to be the taller, rangier guy. He's going to have the better stand-up, more mobile, more experience. Vanderimi is, only I believe 24 years old and 8-1, so hasn't fought in 2 years. Both these guys haven't fought in about 2 years. And Justin, I just think experience and movement. We're in the bigger octagon again. I think just all around, Justin's going to be able to keep this from getting to the ground where Vanderimi needs it to go to get a submission win. Sub or bust for Luigi, in my opinion. And I'm just not sure that he's that good. So I'll take Justin, who did look good against Stevie Ray. Showed a good game against Darren Till as well. This will be his easiest matchup in the UFC so far. So I'll take Justin. I believe he was a slight underdog last I checked, but yeah.
He's actually a slight favorite right now.
He's going back and forth.
Yeah. I have absolutely no read on this fight. And to be honest with you, I did not research this fight because I do not want anything to do with it. It is a 50-50 coin flip. I would probably side with Ayari because he's gotten the better resume. He's fought the better competition. He's been in the UFC before. But I like I said, I don't want any parts of this at all. Don't bet on this fight. I wouldn't even bet the over under because I could see an early stoppage in the first round for either one of these two because it's the first fight in the main card, and that's normally how it goes. First fight on the entire fight card. So normally that tends to go under for some reason. But yeah, I don't want anything to do with either one of these fighters with my money. I can't trust them. I'm not trusting them. It's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. Loser leaves town.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and that's pretty much what they're doing here. It's just a filler fight. Whoever they're like, "Are you ready for a fight? Are you ready for a fight? Yeah, let's come over.
Yeah.
Come on over." But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think Justin is one of these guys who lies on his Tapology info because it says he's 6 foot. He doesn't look 6 foot to me.
let's see. I mean, what's he on? Whatever it says on UFC stats is the correct information.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like, I'm gonna pull it up.
It says 6 foot in Tapology.
Yeah, Tapology is almost 99.9% wrong when it comes to that.
Doesn't look 6 foot.
Oh, he's 6 foot.
Okay. All right.
He's
well,
he's 4 inches taller than Luigi.
Yeah, and they both are coming down from 170. But yeah, I mean, but Justin's actually fought at 155. I believe this is Luigi's first fight at 155. So
Really?
I believe so. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Because I mean, he definitely went up to 170 to fight. What's his name? Zaleski. I know that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe outside the UFC, he was at 155. I meant inside the UFC.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's also a very small 155er to begin with. He's only 5'8".
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then Justin is way bigger than him.
Yep.
He's gonna be way bigger than him.
That's enough. That's enough time spent on Yesin Ayari. And
too much time on this fight. Let's keep it moving. All right, next up in the bantamweight division, we have a fight between Casey Kenny and Hailey Alateng. Right now, Casey Kenny is a minus 325 favorite, and the comeback on Alateng is a plus 265 underdog. Who do you got?
This is definitely, I think, a parlay piece for me. It's one of my invested pieces here. But I'm doing it with a little bit of caution just because a few of my more safe picks lately have been kind of disappointing me in some ways. So regardless, I do have Casey Kenny. He's fought the better competition. They have equal, if not, he has better wrestling. He definitely has better stand-up, better conditioning. I mean, Kenny really should be able to make hopefully short work of this, not even like go to a decision, but even if it went to a decision, I'm comfortable with Kenny. With Hailey, he's got a heavy right hand and allegedly some wrestling, but he hasn't really used it yet. So, I mean, against Ryan Benoit, he was fine, but almost lost that fight. Kenny has so much more volume, movement, power, everything that I just think that edging out a decision over Ryan Benoit not gonna get me sold on you beating Casey Kenny here. I think Casey Kenny's way beyond this as a match.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the line is right. Yeah, he should be a massive favorite. Fought the better, like you said, fought the better competition, beaten the better competition. He's got a much higher ceiling than Hailey as well. I mean, Casey is going to be an eventual top 10 135 pounder. It's just the inevitable. He's that good. Will he fight for the belt? I'm not so sure, but he does have top 10, top 15 capabilities. Well, I don't think Hailey does. I think it's going to be a close fight because Hailey does, he does some things well. He goes for takedowns. He just tries to grind his opponents out, but Casey Kenny, he's got the better movement. He's got the better striking. He throws more volume as well. And he should take this all day. And this is arguably his easiest UFC fight to date, bar none. Easiest fight of his UFC career thus far. And would probably be the worst loss in his entire MMA career at this given point if he were to lose this fight. So I don't see him going in and losing this fight to Hailey. So I got Casey Kenny here. I think the over, 2.5 rounds is probably juice as well. Minus 205, that's not bad. I think it also goes over 2.5 rounds as well.
Yeah, I hope it's not even close.
All right. So next up in the strawweight division, we have a fight between Jinyu Fry and Loma Lokabuni. And right now, Loma is a minus 150 favorite, and the comeback on Fry is a plus 130 underdog.
You can't hear me.
Yeah.
Your headphones.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
I can't hear you.
Right.
I don't know. Hold
Everybody
on.
else can hear me. Sorry, people. We're gonna have a technical
I got you.
difficulties here.
Hold
Okay. Yeah. Just one moment, please. Check. Dude, it's not my
Oh.
mic. I'm talking. I am talking.
Can you hear me? No way.
Yes, I can hear you.
You
Yes.
can hear me. Okay. So
Yes.
I'm taking the headphones off.
Okay. Okay. You can hear me? Okay. Hang on.
I can hear you through my speakers. It is what it is.
It's all good. Yeah. We're gonna pitch in for some new headphones for Garrett.
I don't know what it is with my my headphones. It only does it with you because in my other podcast it's like
Well,
it works fine.
Lucky me. Are we all good?
It's all you. All right. So, but yeah, Fry, Loma, who you got?
Okay. You can hear me though?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. All right. So I was just saying with Kenny before we moved on, I really hope this is not a close fight. Because it shouldn't be, but with the matchups.
Yeah, and plus, like, I'm saying it's going to be a close fight because every single time I'm super, high on a guy that's minus 300, it tends to be a close fight.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, on paper it should be. Hopefully, it's not.
Yeah,
but anyways, going into this fight, we've got two atom weight fighters who are fighting at 115.
Yep.
So we have the only fight in the UFC where Jin Frey is going to have a size advantage. So we have.
You should have a size advantage against Kay Hansen as well.
Yeah, it's true. But Kay Hansen, it really didn't matter because it was such a grappling centric.
Yeah.
The thing with this fight is I just don't see how Loma is going to fight different than she has in all her other fights, which is just this like traditional Muay Thai style where she just doesn't throw enough to win. And
she doesn't throw enough? Or are we talking about the same Loma, or
just
because she throws
a
ton of volume,
but of the same like three things. It's the same three things over and over again, and it's just like I don't know. She's gonna rely on this getting into the clinch and using like clinch strike, like her Muay Thai striking, but like I just don't know how much of the rest of the game she has. But Jin Frey also, I don't know how really solid she is. So I don't really know. I'm taking Loma, I guess, by decision. I think this is going to be really close and not worth investing money in. So
yeah, I think Fry legit has to grapple here to win. Has to, like, she has to make it an Ashley Cummins fight where she just went for takedowns, because she's gonna be she has a massive striking disadvantage, being that she doesn't throw a ton of volume. She waits to counter everything, but look, Loma's just gonna keep coming forward. She doesn't care if she gets hit. She's gonna come forward. She's gonna throw combinations, and she's gonna keep pushing. She's averaging 10. She's throwing 10.14 strikes per minute. Mm-hmm. She's throwing over 10 strikes a minute, one single minute. That's insane for a strawweight fighter. And then you have Fry, who in her last fight was only throwing around 5 to 6 strikes a minute. She has a massive striking advantage as far as volume goes. I know Fry is a good counter striker, but I feel like that's not gonna work in a fight where a girl is throwing twice as much volume. You're gonna be able to counter one, but you're not gonna be able to counter 2, 3, and 4. Because she comes in, throws combinations. She's not throwing one single punch and letting you counter. She's going to throw 1, 2, 3, and with probably a leg kick, Mm-hmm. And Fry is going to get flustered. She's going to get hit a ton in this fight. Even Kay Hansen was landing that overhand right kind of like easily on her. after hands. Like in the second round, she was just landing at will, and you know, being Fry is a bigger, you know, strawweight. She looks like she has a ton of like ton of muscle on her. She tends to fade as the fight goes on, especially when she starts wrestling. As we've seen, if you watch the Ashley Cummins fight, she was actually fading towards the end of those rounds, especially in the striking. She was just looking heavy. Her arms were down, and she was getting hit by Ashley, and which resulted in her just keep going for the takedowns. And Ashley just couldn't. She couldn't defend them at all. But yeah, I think Loma's in a good spot here against a counter striker in Fry that's just looking to stay on the outside and counter everything. I think Loma's going to come in and just go ball to the wall and just throw caution to the wind and throw everything she's got at her. And she's got the chin. She stood in there with Angela Hill. She took shots, and I don't think Fry's going to put her down. I got Loma.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yep. All right. Next up in the middleweight division, we have a fight between Jordan Williams and Nassourdine Imavov. Right now, Williams is a minus 145 favorite, and the comeback on Imavov is a plus 125 underdog. Who do you got?
Well, I got my first dog of the night. I got the Frenchman, Imavov.
He's French?
Originally he's French, I believe. He's got a French flag next to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I mean, Nassourdine, it sounds like a French name, honestly. Yeah, he was born in Russia, actually. Sorry, but he's training out of the same camp, the Fernand Lopez camp, as Cyril Gane, and a few other of those kind of French Canadian prospects. So I'm pretty sure he has some sort of connection with France. And so it's interesting because he was supposed to fight Gregory Rodriguez in the Contender Series, which is the fight that Jordan Williams ended up taking to get into the UFC. And we both had Rodriguez in that fight, and we were both wrong. And so this fight here, it is being fought at middleweight. So Williams came into the last fight at 180. He's made statements that he wants to get to 170. And this fight, again, is going to be at 185. So I'm going to anticipate that Imavov is the bigger of the two fighters. I think he's got, from what I've been able to see, it appears to be the more well-rounded game of the two fighters, better finishing abilities, even though Williams did get the finish in the last fight on the Contender Series. And against Tim Karen before failing the weed test. I just think that Nassourdine has a better chance of finishing this fight overall, and I just think he is the better MMA fighter here, and I think he's going to end up I think this fight doesn't go the distance either way. I think one of these guys is putting away the other one. I think it's going to be a fun, action-packed fight. I'll take the dog, who I feel is the better, more skilled fighter. And also, Imavov is 6'3". Williams is 6 foot? So definitely a reach advantage. Just overall, it's a middleweight against a guy who should be fighting at welterweight, I believe. So it bit me last time in the Rodriguez read here. So Williams has shown he can beat these bigger guys and put them away. But I'm going to go with Imavov. I like what I see. I don't feel he should be the underdog. I get that Williams has fought maybe a little better competition, but both guys, I think, are going to go in there and go for it. So I'm excited about this fight.
All right. At first, I wanted to take Imavov. I liked what I saw in his last fight, but also what I didn't like in that last fight is that he gets hit a ton. And I don't know if he's going to be able to take the power that Jordan Williams possesses in that right hand. He's going to touch him, and he's going to touch him often, very, very often on the chin. And also, Jordan Williams actually has wrestling background to boot as well. He's shown that in his Contender Series fights before the Gregory Rodriguez fights, that he's able to take his opponents down. He's got power in his punches. I believe his only loss was the split decision loss at 185 in the his 2 Contender Series prior. That was his only loss at 185, which he should have probably won that fight as well. So I think he should be at least undefeated at 185. And this is the fight where he's probably this is his first fight at 185 where he's not the smaller fighter. He's fought at more times at 185 than Imavov has. Imavov has only fought at 185 one time in his 10 fights in his MMA career, only once. And that was 2 or 3 fights ago. He's tall, he's lanky, he's got good striking, but he gets hit a lot. And his takedown defense is still an unknown commodity. We've seen him get taken down in his last fight. He got back up, but it's still an unknown commodity. We don't know if his takedown defense is really that good against someone who's bigger and stronger than he is, which is Jordan Williams is bigger and stronger in terms of muscle, I would say. He's not the taller fighter, but I think he's definitely the stronger fighter. And I think as far as the speed goes, they're about right on par. Jordan Williams is very fast for 185. And I think Imavov coming up to 185, being at 176 in his last fight, there's going to be troubles if he's going to have to defend takedowns early and often. We don't know how that gas tank is going to prevail, having to, defend all those takedowns during 15 minutes. And we know how Jordan Williams doesn't really cut a ton of weight, so he's used to being at 185. So I think this is a close fight for a reason. The minus 140 plus 120 price tag is lined about right. But I think the more experienced fighter against a better competition, a guy that's fighting as normal weight class at 185, that shouldn't be as big of a size disadvantage as he normally is at 185. Like we've seen against Gregory Rodriguez, he was massively smaller. I don't think that's going to be here. He's 2 inches shorter, actually. He's 6'1" versus 6'3". Identical reach advantage, reaches as well as 75 inches. And he's also a southpaw, so it's going to be a lot different. I feel like Jordan's going to touch that chin, and he's not going to like to get hit by him. And I do like the under 2.5 rounds if we have that, to be honest with you. Let me see. Do we have under 2.5 rounds? Because either way, I feel like a finish is coming.
Yeah,
under 2.5 rounds is minus 140. I think that's a pretty good line.
I mean, if you're going with Williams, why wouldn't you just take that line?
Yeah, I mean, inside the distance, I would see what's his inside the distance line. Williams inside the distance plus 166.
Yeah, I mean that's where I think that I'm looking forward to this fight.
It's a great fight, and it's close for a reason. But if I'm choosing, I'm gonna go Jordan Williams. I do not want to bet on this fight because I think it's gonna be a really good fight, and it's gonna be close, super close.
Again, it's a 30-foot octagon with the lengthy fighter here, so that does potentially help him out, or it could help out Williams being the faster, quicker, more movement dependent fighter.
Yeah, like I said, this can go so many different ways. There's so many different question marks on both sides. But it makes for a great fight, a really, really good fight. And I'm actually excited to see this because both guys do deserve to be in the UFC for sure.
Yep.
All right. So next up, we have a fight at 145 pounds between Josh Kalaba and Charles Jourdain. Right now, Jourdain is minus 450 favorite. And the comeback on Kalaba is a plus 360 underdog. Who do you got?
I really, really want to take the big dog here. I watched a lot, as much Kalaba fight tape as I could find, including his UFC debut against Jalen Turner at 155, which was less than impressive. He got outstruck like 90-12 in that fight. And while I don't expect it to quite be that much of a one-side beating, I think this is Charles Jourdain all day long, unfortunately. So he's trying the headphones again. He's seeing if he can hear me. Nothing. It's just something against the headphones for me. I don't know what it is, but those headphones hate me. But as I was saying, I do like Jourdain. I'm sorry the headphones aren't working for you, buddy.
No, it's just upsetting because it sounds so much better because like my audio on my laptop is pretty trash.
I'm sorry. We'll figure it out off air or something. But either way, I do have Charles Jourdain here. I think that he's gonna just be using a lot of that back rear leg kick to the body, to the leg, to the head. Gonna be. I see a knockout, and I think it happens inside the first 2 rounds. Like probably under 1.5 rounds for Jourdain, if I'm being honest with you. I just think that he's got it appears that Kulabao struggles with power strikers, and that is exactly what Jourdain is. So I think that Jourdain's gonna just piece him up and put him away pretty early. So I do not like the line. I don't like the line at all. Maybe if you get it, maybe if you bet on Jourdain round 1 and round 2, you can have a chance at getting one of those. But other than that, it's hard for me to really find a way to bet on this fight. But I don't think Kulabao has a great chance. This is at 145 on a full camp at least, though, as opposed to, so similar. It could be a story like earlier with Luigi, where it's like these 2 guys who took these fights on short notice up a weight class finally get some time and to actually show at their own weight class. But I don't see it for him. So Jourdain round 2 TKO.
Yeah, I think Jourdain has this all day. Unfortunately, I really wanted to pick the dog here too, but I don't think any of these big dogs are really pulling through on this weekend's card.
Not
It
this
just,
one.
huh?
Definitely not this one.
Yeah, no, I don't think he could pull it through. Jourdain is a top prospect. He fought a super, super close fight against Andre Fili. He was just maybe a round away from really winning that fight. He really hurt Fili bad in that fight as well. He's got power. He's got kicks. He's got movement. He's really, really good. Like his striking is really good. If you haven't really seen how good he is, go watch the Duho Choi fight. Man, that dude is something special. And Fili was tough on the feet, and Fili's a good striker. Fili's a really good striker, and he had troubles against Jourdain. He resulted in wrestling, and I don't think Kulabao is going to go in there and try to wrestle, or I don't think he's going to be good enough to even get it to the mat, even if he tries to.
But this is one thing. I was listening to some interviews with Kulabao, and he has been training with Alexander Volkanovski. So, and with some other, and this is in quarantine when, they're doing quarantine pretty legit in his area of Australia. It's not quite as strict as other areas of Australia. This is something I was able to learn through his interview with Mr. Lynch earlier. And I do think that's some interesting info. And if he comes out here, really does look prepared, that is pretty relevant information. To be preparing with someone like Volkanovski, Jourdain is not. So there is that. But he also is not Volkanovski, and but it's just something to keep an eye on rather than heavily investing in this fight, because there is a way he comes out and looks better than he did, way better than he did in his debut, fighting as a weight class, actually prepared. We'll see. So
yeah, they're
at minus 450, especially.
Yeah, I'm not telling anyone to go run to the books and bet on Jourdain at minus 450. That's just asinine. It really is, and I'm not advising that one bit. But I do think he is the right side. I do think he's gonna win this fight.
Yep, fair enough.
All right, next up in the bantamweight division, we have a fight between Kyler Phillips and Cameron Else. Phillips is a minus 470 favorite, and the comeback on Else is a plus 375 underdog.
On Tapology, I have Condit and McGee as the next fight.
Okay, let's do that then. We'll come up with. All right, we'll do the Condit fight. All right, next up in the welterweight division, we have a fight between Carlos Condit and Court. What?
The prelim main event.
Oh my God. That shouldn't be any main event. Let's just put it that way. All right. So in the welterweight division, we have a fight between Carlos Condit and Court McGee. Right now, Condit is a plus 115 underdog, and the comeback on McGee's a minus 135 favorite. What do you got?
I'm going to keep this really short, really sweet. These two have 3 wins in the last decade. I believe, or something like that, something close to that. Carlos Condit, very easy game plan here for Court McGee. And I think even Court McGee can do it, even though Court McGee. So, I just mentioned Kulibao's main training partner, or one of them being Volkanovski. Do you know who?
Nope.
Sir, do you know who?
I have no idea. Who?
It's his son, Isaac McGee. His 13-year-old son, Isaac McGee. Who, if you listen to Court McGee's pre-fight presser at Fight Island, he's saying Isaac's getting a lot bigger. He's like 150, 160 pounds now, and he's really starting to develop a real instinct. And I'm coming into this fight, and I'm having fun now. I haven't been having fun for a while, and I'm having fun now. I'm taking Carlos Condit. Fucking Court McGee is out of his goddamn mind. Like, he's out of his gourd, dude. This is like, I've never changed a pick on an interview so much in my life, and I don't care what anybody says at all. I then very quickly went and listened to Carlos Condit's interview, because I was like, let me just make sure Condit doesn't say he was like training with his daughter or something. And like, which he didn't. Carlos Condit sounded a little more sane. So I'm going to take the guy who didn't lose a decision to Ben Saunders in the last 4 years.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah. I'm going to take a guy who didn't lose a decision to Sean Strickland the following fight. I get it that Carlos Condit has not looked great lately. He got pretty dominated by Magny. He got dominated by Maya. I get it.
But all those people are levels above Court McGee,
yeah,
though.
I'm going to take Condit, and I don't know how he gets it done. It's probably a really gross decision, because neither one of these guys is shit anymore. But I'll take Condit. I cannot take McGee after what he said.
Man, this is
watch that interview.
This is an insane shit show of a fight. Don't know why this is even put on our television screen. But here we are. Court McGee, Carlos Condit, 2020 Fight Island. Gosh, what a horrible fight. I don't even know who to pick. Normally, you'd just pick anybody that has half a brain against Carlos Condit, because all you literally have to do is just take a leg and put him down on the floor, and then you win. It's over. Literally, that's all you have to do against Carlos Condit in 2020. But enters Court McGee, training with his 13-year-old son. Probably, I don't know what he's even doing with his son at this point, training-wise. Who even knows? But yeah, if I'm picking a side, I'm definitely not betting this fight, guys. I'm not going to be betting a lot of these fights. Just point blank. I just don't trust most of these guys with my money. But yeah, I'm going to take a shot on Carlos Condit, I guess. Plus 115. I'm pretty sure the dog price on either one of these two is the only side you could really bet. It's this is a dog or pass situation, and I'm pretty sure I would never put my money on either one of these two. Neither should you. Just stay away. Stay away.
Yep.
Just watch the shit show commence. Watch it, laugh, take it in, digest it. On to the next fight. That's it.
It's going 15 minutes, man. I think you can take the over and feel comfortable.
Yeah, I know the over is definitely gonna be a 2.5. Oh, minus 260. I don't want nothing to do with that. Nope.
Damn it, they know. They know.
Yep. They're like that's how much of a shit show it is that they're literally lining it at minus 260.
That's unreal. I was hoping they were gonna just be like, oh, these guys are finishers. They're like, no.
Carlos Condit used to be a finisher, and look at him now, minus 260 for over 2.5.
Carlos Condit was a finisher in 2011.
Yeah, I know. That was 9 years ago. But, like, that's what he was known for back in the day when he wasn't, terrible.
In 2011.
Dude, man, I remember when he was so good. I remember.
Dong Young Kim finish was the end. That was the end. Dong Young Kim finish was the end. That was the end of Carlos Condit.
I can't believe that.
We move on to the main card now. And it's
main card action.
Townsend's fight first.
Okay, that's the first fight. All right, so Next up, on the very first fight on the main card, we have a fight at 185 pounds between Daquan Townsend and Dusko Todorovic. Right now, Todorovic is a minus 340 favorite in the comeback on Townsend. It's a plus 280 underdog. Who do you got?
Is this the apple pie shitter? Does Dusko somehow fuck up against Daquan fucking Townsend?
I know, like I'm feeling the same way too. You know,
I'm telling you, I have a bad feeling about this one.
I mean,
Bad feeling.
like Todorovic, this should be a walk in the park. Should be a walk in the park.
Yes,
Absolutely walk in the park. But there's something telling me that don't bet on Todorovic.
I agree.
I think he's one of the bigger favorites that can definitely fuck up your night.
He needs to show me he can do in the UFC before I bet on him. Straight up. At this price especially. I get it. Daquan Townsend has not looked good in any of his 3 fights in the UFC. I don't know if he's won a round yet in the UFC.
No, he hasn't.
I mean, anytime he stepped up his competition outside the UFC, he lost. He lost to Jamal Hill, who was only 3-0 at the time in the regionals. And then other than that, but Tusko didn't look that great in his
not at all.
Debut.
No, he did not look good at all.
Hasn't fought since then. Doesn't look like the biggest 185er to me. And you know, I mean, the thing, I got a bad feeling about this. My pick is Dusko, just because like he should win. Yeah. I'm actually not betting this fight, and I'm shocked because as soon as I see Daquan Townsend, I think, oh, good, I get the fade Daquan Townsend again.
Yeah, easy money, right?
But this is just one of those. It feels like a trap, and I don't know how Daquan would win. Be some bullshit 29-28 where he's able to land some leg kicks and use a little bit of boxing, push him up against the cage. Daquan has an 80-inch reach. He doesn't really use it, but he's got an 80-inch reach. He's going to be the bigger guy here. He's fought at 205, and he's got more than quadruple the amount of fights of Dusko. And Dusko is just, you know, I mean, not that impressive. Definitely not to have his debut be minus 300. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Dusko. But I'm taking Dusko by like a gritty decision, though. Which is just not what you bet minus 300 at. So that's how I feel about this fight. And if Daquan wins, I'm going to be thrilled because then I get to fade him again. Like that's the only reason. I'm stepping back from this fight, though. There's nothing for me here.
I can't. I don't like Todorovic at this line. It's just ridiculous. Minus 340. He didn't look great against Teddy Ash. We're talking about a guy that came into that fight winning all of his fights by first round knockout, and he comes to that fight just clinching against Teddy Ash. Like he wanted no parts. He wanted no part of striking at all. He didn't want to get hit by him at all.
No, and Dalcha didn't finish Daquan Townsend in 1 round.
Exactly. I mean, the over 1.5 rounds at minus 210, I think is a really good parlay piece, mind you. 1.5 rounds, I think that's super solid. I mean, it's minus 210, but I think that's a super solid. And if you want to bet on Todorovic, obviously you don't take the money line. I would take him by a decision at plus 165. I think that's. I mean, I had it at plus. It was at plus 255 is where I liked it.
Yeah.
That's where I really liked it. But I'm just saying, if you want to play Todorovic, I think that's your only way of playing him. You can't play him at minus money. You have to get that some type of value on him because there's no value on him and he's not a guaranteed win. Even how bad Townsend is, not a guaranteed win at all. Not at all is a guaranteed win.
No. So yeah. And I don't know where Dusko is traveling from for this fight.
He lives somewhere out there in the middle of the world.
Okay, so he is traveling from Europe then.
Yeah. He doesn't train out here in the States.
Yeah. So I mean, that's another just these weird little things. I mean, that could have been a reason. I believe his last fight was his American debut. which could have been a reason why it was a flatter performance also. So these are all things that at minus 340 you don't want to find out.
Yeah, I mean, he fights out of Serbia.
Exactly. So, I got a bad feeling about this one.
Yeah, I mean, he could come in there and absolutely starch Townsend, but do you really want to take a chance at minus 340 that you're guessing he's going to come in and starch him and hoping he does and not get a close decision?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So next up in the bantamweight division, we're finally at this fight. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight, great fight here between Kyler Phillips and Cameron Else. Right now, Phillips is a massive minus 470 favorite, and the comeback on Else is a plus 375 underdog. Yeah.
Well, I don't like that line, obviously. Kyler looked really good against Gabriel Silva in his UFC debut, though. Showed he's not a one-round fighter there, went the distance, had plenty of gas, and had, good power behind his shots throughout. So I was impressed there. Cameron Else is kind of reminds me of like the Kosick brothers from a couple weeks ago we saw. Like just guy goes in there and throws down hard, fights a bunch of guys who haven't been good, so you don't really know how good he is either. I think that Kyler should win this fight, right? Like he should be able to take Else down, make it an MMA fight, and just like tire him out being here on short notice. So I think Else is gonna go in there and look to end it in the first round. If he can't, gas out doing so. So that would be my guess. So I'll take Kyler. I'm not sure how he gets it done, though, but I'll take Kyler.
Yeah, obviously you can't bet Kyler at minus 475. That's crazy. He does have the more momentum. He has a higher ceiling. I've been a fan of Kyler Phillips when he was at 4-0. This kid, he's good. He's good all around. He's got power in his kicks and his punches. He's got really slick jiu-jitsu. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. He's all around a really good fighter and a really good add to the 135-pound division. Cameron Ellis, he hasn't fought at 135 in quite some time. I'm not even sure how he's even making 135 on short notice because he hasn't fought at 135 in a while. He's been fighting at 155, 145, and somehow he's taking this on short notice and taking it at 135. That's definitely going to deplete his cardio for sure. And I think he's probably round one or bust. And I'm truly hoping he does win the first round just based on aggression and volume, because then we can live bet and get Kyler Phillips at a decent price of maybe minus 200, minus 250, or even maybe flip because he really dominated that round. But he's gonna gas. I mean, you don't just drop to 135 when you've been normally at 145, 155 on short notice and think it's going to be okay with your cardio. It's going to absolutely deplete him. And I think Kyler Phillips is probably going to just absolutely dominate him in rounds 2 and 3, if not round 1 as well. But yeah, Cameron Ellis is definitely going to fade after the first round, and it should be an easy win for Kyler Phillips.
Yep, fair enough. Minus 470 is insane still.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I don't think you can really. I wouldn't suggest parlaying any of these super duper favorites, to be honest with you. I mean, any one of them can essentially lose. It is, a fist fight. Every fight is 50-50. No matter if you're minus 5,000 or not, it's a 50-50 fight. Anything can happen. Anything. The Jorge Masvidal flying knee or the Diego Sanchez flying knee. You don't even know.
Oh my God. We have Jorge Masvidal at home.
All right. Next up in the women's bantamweight division, we have a fight between Germaine Durandamy and Juliana Pena. Right now, Durandamy is a minus 150 favorite, and the comeback on Pena is a plus 130 underdog. What do you got?
I like this fight a lot.
Me too.
This is, I think, probably the best fight on the card.
Definitely one of, if not the best fight. Yeah,
it's like two very, very talented fighters at what they do, and it's the question: can Juliana get her down and submit her? And I don't think so. I think that Juliana Pena is taking a gigantic step up here from Nico Montano. who just got extremely overrated by winning the first bantamweight title or whatever. Like, so people
No,
are like,
flyweight title, the first ever flyweight champion.
she's a champion, but she's not. She's really shouldn't even be ranked, which is why she's not anymore.
Yeah.
And this is such a step up. I think, got to see a little bit from Geraint in both not so much in the Aspen Ladd fight since she landed that right so soon, but in the Raquel Pennington fight. And Juliana Pena is not Amanda Nunes. So I think that Geraint is going to catch Pena and end up putting her away. I think she gets the TKO win, possibly first round for Germaine Durandame. But I love the price at -150. I think it isn't a KO or bust, but I do think she gets the KO.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gift of a price. I mean, we're talking about the only person that gave Amanda Nunes a hell fight in the last forever. We talk about she rocked her with a fucking up kick. If you haven't watched that fight, she rocked her with an up kick and almost put her out to the point where she literally was dazed and just fell on top of her. Germaine looked good getting back up after being taken down. I don't see Pena really getting takedowns here either, to be honest with you. I mean, she didn't get not one traditional takedown against Nico Montano in that fight. Her takedowns were a headlock takedown, which there's no effing way she's getting a headlock takedown against Germaine Durandame, who's twice her size, mind you. And her other takedown was just a catch kick to a takedown. That was it. That was the only 2 takedowns that she had the entire fight. She didn't get a single leg. She didn't get a trip against the cage. She didn't get a double leg. She got none of that. Okay, Amanda Nunes had to use brute strength to finish those double leg takedowns. Obviously, in the first couple rounds. After that, Germaine was getting tired. But in the first couple rounds, she had to use all of her strength in order to muster her down to the mat. Pena is no way going to be able to do that. Germaine's way bigger, way stronger than Pena as well. Also, Germaine has only been taken down by the featherweight fighters that she's faced in her UFC career, Julia Budd, and I consider Amanda Nunes a 145-pound fighter because she is that strong and she's that big and she is a 145-pound champ. Those are the only 2 girls that were able to take her down. 2 world-class grapplers, both Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, both are extremely strong and way, way, way bigger than Pena. I think Germaine has this all day in the striking. Pena is extremely hittable, and I think this is a great price, -150. I think Germaine should be -210, 220 at least. I think this is a gift of a line. Unfortunately, I didn't get it at the price where I wanted to. I can't believe she even opened at +110. That is just absolutely disrespectful. That's a disrespectful line, and I can't believe neither one of us jumped on a +110 against Pena. I don't even know why I even thought twice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I've been hearing a lot of people who seem to be high on Juliana Pena and her grappling and submission abilities. So I'm hoping the line can come closer.
But they literally did not watch her last fight.
I know,
but watch her last fight.
I'm just saying that's what some of the casual betting I'm hearing.
That's crazy. I mean, that was my first initial reaction. Before taping it, I'm like, oh, Pena's gonna take her down at will, and just hold her there and just dominate her. And then I'll watch it. I'm like, damn, her takedowns are not good, and Germaine is gonna be so much bigger than her. So much bigger than her.
Knees to the body, the elbows. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and the clinch, like Pena wants nothing to do with that clinch of Germaine at all. She's gonna eat elbows. She's gonna eat knees. She's gonna eat it all. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a dangerous fight for her. She might get beat up pretty bad.
As a parlay piece at -152.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful line. I don't think I think probably one of the best lines on the card.
Yeah, I have a 3-piece. I'll say at the end for sure that I feel pretty good about. So,
all right. So we are up to the co-main event of the evening in the heavyweight division between Yorgan De Castro and Carlos Felipe. Right now, the Castro is a minus 245 favorite, and the comeback on Felipe is a plus 205 underdog. Who do you got?
I hate this co-main event. This is awful. This is an
It's pretty bad.
awful line for a potentially awful fight.
Oh, it's gonna be the sloppiest fight.
We better pray it ends in the first round, because if it doesn't,
it's not.
We're gonna.
It's not going to finish in the first round. It's going to a decision. It's going to a decision.
Dude, I was so all over Yorgan De Castro after his performance against Justin Tafa. I was all over him against Greg Hardy.
Really? I was definitely on Greg over Greg
I remember. Hardy. I know. You were right. So, and the way the fight started, it was great. He threw the leg kick. I was like, yay, Castro's doing it. Then he just stopped, man. He just stopped.
Right? Yeah.
He just stopped.
But
he just stopped. And now I see why
didn't he break his foot, though?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. I understand. There's just like, I'm not saying there's no reason. There was an injury, obviously, but when you look at Yorgan De Castro's Tapology page, you see his amateur career, and you see how he's like 4-10 in his amateur career, and you're wondering how that happened. This is how it happened. This guy is the was a cruiserweight champion, meaning he is like a 220 fighter. Really, he should be at 185. At best, he should be at 205. Probably should be at 170 even. But here he is at 265.
Going down. He should be a bantamweight. Fuck it.
Dude, yeah, he should be, fighting for the flyweight title. But instead, here he is at heavyweight against another guy in Felipe, who gassed his ass off against Sergey Spivak and still almost won because Sergey Spivak is that bad. I bet on Sergey Spivak too, and I got nervous. And it's just ridiculous. This is a fight where Yorgan should absolutely school him and win this fight going away, landing leg kicks, piecing him up, putting him away, frankly. And he's not. This is going to be sloppy. One of these fighters is going to win 2 rounds. One of them is going to win 1 round. And we're going to have all of the judges' names being named. We're going to be saying this person we're going to have 3 different scores. We're going to have a 30-27, a 29-28, 28-29. I don't know who they're going to go for.
28-29.
Yep, it's going to be 3 different scores, like one of those kind of fights.
Reading scores backwards too. Why don't we?
We're all going to be 3 sheets to the wind already. We're all going to be a little extra hammered on it. Dude, it's just like, I'm just saying, like, I got Castro, but don't get married to this man. Do not get married to Yorgan De Castro at minus 270.
Yeah, this
is
not. Yeah, I know a lot of people are just all over De Castro.
That was my initial feeling too. And then
I looked it over. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Not at that price. It's got to be lower for me to take him. Minus 245 is ridiculous. No. They're both not the best. I do rate Castro a lot higher than Felipe.
Me too.
But I think both of them are going to gas after one hell of a 2 minutes in the first round. After those 2 minutes, it's going to decline drastically, and it's just going to be a shit show of them just standing around throwing 1 or 2 punches every minute. That's literally what's going to happen. I'm telling you. So I'm looking to take the over 1.5 rounds at minus 120. I think that's good. You know what I mean? I don't want to pick a side here. It's just no, thank you. No, I want nothing to do with that at all. Thank you, but no, thank you. Now let's just go to the main event. Let's just go to the main event because I really got nothing on either side. On that one. Yeah, let's get to the main event, and we're up to the main event of the evening between Holly Holm and Irene Aldana in the bantamweight division. Right now, Holly Holm is a minus 120 favorite in the comeback on Aldana's a plus 100 underdog. Who do you got?
So, I mean, Aldana really surprised me in her last fight against Caitlin Vieira.
Me too.
That came out of nowhere.
Yep.
And is, it was honestly like kind of a welcome sight there. Sorry, Chico may be barking. There he goes.
Chico!
Yeah, he makes his appearance. He always has to make his appearance. But, Chico, we got it. But Anyways, I'm just gonna work through Chico's barking here for a second. Hang on.
Chico getting in trouble right now. Chico over there making a ruckus.
So, anyways, I think that Aldana, that was by far her best win of her career there. She looked really good in that fight. I mean, she was doing a great job of being a matador. Caitlin was loading up on her punches, trying to knock her out with every strike, and Irene moved out of the way. That's nothing like how Holly Holm's going to fight this fight here. So it's just hard for me to really imagine that a similar type of result here for Irene. So it's gonna probably be a kickboxing fight for the most part, but I think Holly Holm may be the one who implements some grappling in this fight over the 5 rounds again. And she's shown as she's gone further into the late stage of her career, she's willing to go that route, and I think that'd be the smart route to go here. And I think that we're gonna go with Holly Holm here. I think that even though Irene had a big win against Vera in their last fight, I think that Holly Holm still has a little bit left in her tank here, and it's going to be a little bit too much for Irene, even if it does stay on the feet for the most part. But I see Holly Holm mixing it up, winning a decision here. I don't see a finish on either side.
Yeah, actually, we're getting a decent line on this fight goes to decision at -190. That's actually a pretty decent line. It just recently dropped. I don't know why, but it did. And I think I kind of have to side with you because I mean, Aldana. I mean, other than the Caitlin Vieira fight, who has she really outstrike anyone? I mean, who is as good as Holly Holm on our Aldana's resume? No one.
Yeah.
And you would say Vieira is the best, and her striking is nowhere near Holly Holm's striking either. You know what I mean? And if you look at Holm's last 2 losses, Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg, and then the losses before that, Jermaine Durandamy, Valentina Shevchenko, and Misha Tate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are levels above Aldana. And then when it comes to like actual body stature, Aldana's a little taller, but Holm has way more muscle in her. So I think she'd be able to muscle her against the cage like she did in the Pennington fight and just keep her there. Just keep her there. Keep her head underneath her chin. Just keep her there up against the cage. Just grind her. Maybe take her down if she's able to get it there. I know Aldana has good takedown defense, but I think Holm is going to be able to outstrike Aldana here. I know Aldana throws more volume, but it's going to be hard for her to get on the inside throwing volume against the karate style of Holm. She throws a ton of those side kicks to the knees, the side kicks to the bodies, the head kick knockouts that she has, and then she's got that boxing to boot as well. So I'm taking Holly Holm here -120. I think it's a toss-up fight. I do like the fight going decision at -190. The over 4.5 rounds -245. All of that. I mean, like it's going the distance. This fight has 20. We have 25 minutes of this fight, ladies and gentlemen. 25 minutes of Aldana and Holm just standing there throwing strikes at the air. That's what we're gonna get.
We're gonna hear some kias in this fight for sure.
Like seriously, the commentator were like,
yeah. Thank God Chukagian isn't fighting on Fight Island.
Imagine a 25-minute fight of Chukagian in no one there.
Well, pretty much every fight she fights, it sounds like no one's there. I've been at Chukagian fights, and the fucking crowd goes dead for those bitches fights, man. I mean, like dead. Like they're just everybody is. It's like a funeral in there. So you just hear yeah. Over and over again. Oh my God. Chukagian. My goodness. I hope at some point our commenter here, Jillian Robertson, gets a hold of Jakagian and shuts her up. Like, I really do.
Oh, God.
Like, but anyways,
Yes. All
but
right.
I want to give a little parlay. I mentioned
Yes, absolutely. We
um,
always need the
this
the
isn't
Aaron
that.
the Dog greasy parlay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is super greasy, but I'm going to give it
It's
to you
greasy enough.
anyways.
Yeah, it's good enough.
It's a responsible grease, I think, this week. It's Casey Kenny, it's Jermaine Durandamy, it's Holly Holm. And if you really want, add Jorgen De Castro. I got a bad feeling about it, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in Jermaine and Casey Kenny as well. Pretty confident of those two. And then just those two alone get you plus 118. I think that's even decent as a quick double up two leg parlay. That's even not bad at all.
Oh, and I'm getting information from a unnamed source that Jakagian is on the same card as Jillian. So a win by those two would be very nice for sometime at the end of the year, maybe Christmas time.
Maybe
Christmas present.
The source would
maybe a little Christmas.
Get her all riled up and get a fight coming.
Yeah. Jakagian's fighting Jessica Andrade in her 125 return. So that's gonna
be good because Andrade just come forward and just try to beat her up.
Yep. So either way, though, open invite to that commenter for when she wants to come on, if she wants to chat before or after her fight. But she already knows that. But anyways, that's my kind of parlay of the week. And what does it get us? Sorry.
Casey Kenny, Jermaine Durandamy, and Holly Holm get you plus 300.
Okay. And adding De Castro makes it
what? Adding De Castro will get you plus 463.
Okay, and then if I add Condit to that,
oh my God, Condit gets you plus 1,100.
There it is. There's your grease. Add Condit and De Castro and have yourself some fun.
There's the grease.
Watch that McGee interview. He literally says, "I trained with my son Isaac, who's 150 or 160 pounds now."
I wanted him to say, "I train with tigers." That would have been so much more cooler,
No, but he trained with his son, so yeah.
He trains with his son, so it's not that cool.
I mean, but there you go. That's a plus 1,000. That's a plus 1,000. Let's go. Let's
get it. I like it. Plus 1,000. $10 wins you $111, I believe. So I mean, that's money in your pocket. It's only $10. I just spent more on coffee this morning, actually. So what's $10? Who knows? But yeah, that's what we got. That's our breakdown for this week's fight card. Before we go, I need to shout out our sponsors. Guys, head over to manscaped.com. They got a new weed whacker. The females don't like hair in your nose. Use that weed whacker. Get that shit all nice and spiffed up for your lady friends over there. Use promo code TFTA20 for 20% off your order and free shipping. And guys, head over to Our Life CBD for the best in CBD products. Use promo code TFA10 for 10% off your order. With that said, my man Aaron, where can everyone find you?
You can find me over on Twitter, Aaron Jay Brooks. You can also find me obviously here Thursday. Usually we're going at 8 p.m., but we can switch it around at times. We'll be back for the Contenders Series next month.
Yes, can't wait.
Yeah, so we'll be back on Monday or Tuesday nights for that. Monday nights, obviously, for that. And other than that, I've got some other podcasts that are going on. So follow me over on Twitter. I tweet them all out. If you're into entertainment, I'm also doing a few movie and television podcasts at this point as well. Otherwise, I'm going to be watching this main card that just started for Bellator. It was off for 40 minutes because all their fights had so many finishes. But go watch this main card. But, that's where you can find me. We'll be back here next week.
Yes, sir. We will see you guys back next week, Thursday, hopefully our regular time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, you know where to find me. Fight Analyst on Twitter, The Fight Analyst on Instagram and Facebook. And guys, head over to thefightanalyst.com. Get my packages today. We're going to make a ton of money this weekend. It's only $25, like always. But with that said, we will catch you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great